Good morning and welcome to Pilgrim Lutheran Church and School's virtual Sunday School. Today is the first Sunday of May and we are having some beautiful weather. So I'm sure you're sitting there wondering, Mrs. Everett, why do you have icicles in your background today? Well, listen to the reading from John 15, 1 through 8 and see if you can find out. Jesus, the true vine. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit. Because apart from me, you can do nothing. Whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. So what do you hear in that? There was a lot of the word abide, right? Abide in me and I will abide in you. But it also talked about bearing fruit. Now, if you compare an icicle to fruit, I don't know, which one would you choose? I know what I would choose. I would choose the fruit because the icicles are kind of cold. And I'm not a huge fan of cold, but even when it's cold, icicles are just, they're not something that I seek out quite often, especially not on a branch, because these branches look a little, maybe sad, right? There's no leaves or flowers. And that happens when there's coldness, right? But here we are in the spring and the ice is thawing. And what are we seeing on these branches? Seeing little buds of flowers and leaves and fruit. So if we listen to this story and we say, what does this mean? I think there were a couple things, right? First of all, he talked about getting rid of the branches that bear no fruit. So that makes sense to me, right? If there's a branch in your life that sort of makes you feel cold and icky and not great, that's something that maybe you want to take a look at removing, right? You don't want that in your life. But he also talks about pruning the branches that do bear fruit so that they can bear more fruit. That also makes sense, that sometimes in order to grow, we have to cut back a little bit, right? And I think sometimes we try to do too much. There's so much fruit and so much opportunity here in the world that sometimes we need to focus on the things that are important to us and bring love to us. But I think one of the most important parts of what Jesus is saying in this story is that he's the vine and we're the branch. And when you think about a tree or a vine, the branches that are bearing fruit are the ones that are still connected. Have you ever gone on a walk and picked up a stick? I know we have. We've got stick collections sitting right outside of our house sometimes because we pick up these sticks that are just on the ground. And they are not bearing any fruit. In fact, they're usually pretty brittle because there's no water coming into them anymore, and there's no life. And so you could just break it in half. And that stick that's no longer connected to the tree or the vine um, is definitely not bearing fruit. So the main part of this story is not just about taking a look at the branches of a tree and making sure you've got the ones that bring love and growth and bring fruit, but it's about staying connected, right? Staying connected to Jesus, because Jesus is the vine and we are the branches. And so the only way for us to continue to bear the fruit and to grow and to be healthy is to stay connected to Jesus and to stay connected to his word. And when we stay connected to his word and we fill our lives with the things that he says about the 10 Commandments and the love and treating each other with kindness and having love for everybody, then the icicles thaw and our branches grow and bear a lot of fruit. So I think this is a really great reading that talks not just about who you want to be as a branch and the fruit that you bear and the things that you do to make your branch flourish the best that you can, but it talks about staying connected to God and to Jesus, and that being the key to our growth. So thank you for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.